guys, so those little critters that you just saw, those are the new addition to my shop. Their names are Harley and Ivy, for Harley Quinn and Poison Ivy, some DC villains. Anyway, they're kind of cool. They're fun to have. So this part of the channel is where I just kind of sit down here in my shop and I talk, tell a story, or talk, or do whatever. And I do like to talk, so this is one of my favorite things to do. So today I'm going to talk a little bit about marriage, my marriage. My wife and I celebrated our 22nd anniversary yesterday. 22 years. So, and honestly, it's been amazing. Incredible, to say the least. It's we're best friends. We just click. We just get along. We just love being together. And I mean, that is one of our favorite things to do, just hang out. We don't have to go on vacations or go, to fancy restaurants. I mean, those things are nice, but to just hang out together, to just be together. And a lot of times, well, our favorite thing to do is for her and I to be together with our family, our children, and just enjoying each other's company. She's fantastic, and I've been blessed, no doubt about it. And a lot of people out there are probably like, ew, throw up listening to how great your marriage is. But it's been, I mean, it is. It's her and I got married very, very young. We met very young. Her especially. She's 6 years younger than me, and when we met, she was very young, and I was fairly young myself, barely a teenager, and we had dated for 4 years and decided to get married, despite what everybody said to us. The majority of the people in our lives at that time said, absolutely not, you get married now, it's never going to last, I'll give it a year, I'll give it 2 years, I'll give it a few months, whatever. The majority of the people in our lives at that time said, absolutely will not work out, you're too young, you don't know what you want. And we knew they were wrong. We knew that then. Absolutely knew that then. We knew they were wrong, and we got married anyway. And because we knew where our hearts were, we knew how much we loved one another. And we were very vocal about how much we loved one another back then. We told each other how we felt, always. We've always been fully up forward, boldly and bluntly honest with each other, even if it was something we didn't want to hear. Always that honest, since our relationship started. And that's one of, I mean, if there's a secret to a successful marriage, that would probably be one of them. Just be honest with each other. I know a lot of marriage therapists, which I've never been to one, but I mean, you watch Dr. Phil or whatever on TV, and it's always like, well, you got to communicate, and that's a reality. Talk about everything. Be honest how you feel. Don't ever try to hide anything. Because we never have to guess what's going on in one another's hearts or minds or thoughts. We vocalize that. We talk about that. So 22 years. We've been together 26 years when we from when we first started dating and up until this point. And like I said before, despite what everyone told us to do, they told us not to get married. We were too young and it would never last, is what they told us. Now, like I said, I knew different. We knew different. We knew in our hearts what we wanted. We knew in our hearts that we loved each other. And somehow we knew in our hearts that this was a lifetime deal. This was until death do us part, and we knew that. So we got married. And honestly, I have friends who have had rocky marriages and been through a few of them, and I've had them ask me, how in the world have you stayed with the same woman for 22 years? And I'm confused by that question, because how could I not? I mean, you know, I could sit here and tell you how fantastic my wife is, and she is. But it takes two to make or break a marriage. It takes two to make or break a relationship. And there is some sacrifices, and you know, you got to compromise, you know. But any decision that's ever been made in our marriage has been made together. Never have I gone out just to do something on my own without telling my wife. Major decisions. Raising our kids, any decisions been made with our kids have been made together. We talk. We communicate. We say, hey, you know, this is what's going on in their lives. This is what's happening. We, you know, any punishments, any, you know, we've always worked together pretty much as a team. We seen that in the beginning. We knew when we was going to have kids, it was going to take teamwork to raise our children to the best we could. I mean, like I've talked before in other vlogs, where there's no set of rules on raising a child. And the same with marriage. But to make it successful, which ours has been and always will be, I will grow old with my wife. We will someday be sitting on our porch in our rocking chairs. I mean, if you can picture, watching our grandchildren play in the front yard or whatever. You know, I mean, I will grow old with this woman. I will live the rest of my life being married to her. She's my friend. She's my wife. I love her, and that'll never change. And my love for her is deep. But that's because of her. That's because of who she is, and how understanding she is, and how great of a mother she's been. That just deepens my love all the time when I see her interacting with our children. We have adult children. We have grown-up children that live on their own. Two of them that live on their own. One that's going to be living on her own soon. And then we have a younger one that's, you know, she's going to be with us for, you know, quite a few years yet. But when I see my wife interact with my children, with anything, I have 3 daughters and a son. My son is my oldest child, and then I have my daughters. And even seeing her interact with my son when he's having a problem, or when they come to mom because they need some, because she's so she's so smart, and she's so understanding, and she has a real good firm grasp on faith and life and fairness, and so they do go to her. My children do go to her a lot for advice. I'm the dad that I can give great advice, I think, from my heart, because when they need me, I mean, that I love my kids, so when they need me and I need to give them some helpful advice to help them make the right decision, I can do that. But I'm the dad I'm the cut up, I'm the goofball. I go out and skate and bike and act like a fool with my children, and that's me, as that's my fatherly role pretty much. I mean, when it comes time to get serious, when they need me to be serious, absolutely. But most of the time, that's my role, and the parental role is just I'm the goofball, the cut up, the you know, the man child of. My wife she's the very understanding, very smart, very great at giving good advice and helping them see what they need to do next. And so when I see her interact with my kids in that way, and my daughters and my son, it makes me love her even more, you know. And when I see her interact with anybody in my family, and when I see how much she loves my family because I love my family, she's just great. And this marriage has been great, and it's going to continue to be great. years ago, I mean, it's been 22 years. We've been together 26 years. She was very, very young. I mean, okay, she was, when I met her, God, I hate to say this, because it sounds like, I can't imagine with my own children this happening. When I met her, she was 12. And I was 18. She had to grow up fast because of circumstances in her childhood, and I won't get into it because it's really, I mean, that stuff's really not important anymore. People in her life from then till now, it's a completely different situation. But at that time, she had to grow up faster than she should have, and so she seemed much older than what she was. And I'm not using that as an excuse because I didn't care about age. When I saw her, she was beautiful. I thought she was beautiful. I thought she was sweet, and then when I talked to her and got to know her, and little by little, I fell head over heels for this girl. She was fantastic, and I was at a point in my life, and she was at a point in her life where we needed each other. I was living a teenage. I mean, my parents divorced. My mom married an alcoholic who was abusive. And again, I shouldn't get into this stuff because, like I said, that stuff just doesn't matter anymore. It really doesn't. But so my teenage years were just, it was chaos, and my life was spinning out of control, and hers kind of was too. And we met each other, and we felt some security in one another, and we had an understanding of each other's issues, and we really wanted to be there to help one another through all of our garbage that we was going through, and we did that. And I believe fully in my heart that God wanted us together, because I could care less about having any financial security. I could care less about having anything. I would give up everything that I have. I would give away to have my wife in my life. And I mean, if I was given the option of you can have whatever you want or this, I would absolutely choose her. I mean, this probably sounds kind of like a weird scenario, but I mean, you know what I mean? Like, she needed me, I needed her when we met one another, and I think God put us in one another's path, because if I've ever felt my soulmate, that is her. And honestly, some of this is going to sound mushy to some people. Some people are going to be like, oh, gag, I'm going to barf, or whatever. Some people just don't like the mushy stuff. But I am at my strongest when I'm right next to her. I can handle anything when I'm right next to her. I can deal with things more rationally, and when she's by my side, physically by my side. When I'm next to her, I'm at my top. I feel my strongest, my most secure when she's right next to me. And I honestly, I couldn't do this life without her. And I don't know where I would have been or where I'd be today if I hadn't met her when I did, because I was heading down a real rocky, rough, dark road, and she honestly saved me from where I was heading, and I think I saved her from where she was heading, but it was meant to be. Absolutely, I believe it was meant to be, and it's been 22 years, and it's been amazing, and we have 4 amazing kids, and they are cool. They are cool, the coolest kids I've ever met in my life. Not just because they're mine, well, probably. I mean, yeah. But I would think they're cool anyway. But, so, the secret to marriage, I have no clue. I believe, and some people probably don't believe this, but this is my belief. This is mine, and you can have your own, and that's great. And I am fully open to anybody having their own opinion, and I'm okay with that, and I'm not going to argue with you if you have an opinion on something, even if it differs from mine. That's whatever. Everybody's got a right to their own opinion. Everybody's got a right and probably a reason to believe in certain ways. My belief is you marry someone, that person was put in your life for a reason, and you make that work. I don't believe in divorce, and I know some relationships should not, the people should not be together if it's abusive, or sometimes it's just not going to work, and that's unfortunate. But I believe that you do everything in your power to make that work, and then if it's not going to, then maybe you should be divorced, or maybe you should not be together. But I'm happy to say that my wife is my first wife, my only wife, my forever wife. That's never going to change, and I like that. I like that. I like that I have a wife that I've built a family with, and I fully applaud the dad who steps into a relationship where there's already children. He takes on the father role and becomes the father, and they call him dad, and he treats them like they're his own. That's incredible, and I applaud the guy who does that. That's amazing, and you deserve a pat on the back. You're awesome. You know, when dad walks out of a child's life and another guy walks in and he takes on the role, that's incredible. And that's a good man to do that. But I can say that I feel fantastic that me and my wife have built this family together. Those are our children, and she's my wife until the day I die. My first wife. I like that. I like that a lot. But my wife knows how I feel about her. I don't do these videos to let her know. She already knows. She knows how much I love her. I don't have to tell her. She already knows. I mean, I tell her every day I love her. I tell her every day how beautiful I think she is. I tell her every day how amazing she is. But I wouldn't have to. I mean, she already knows. You know, through my actions. I show her my love. I show her affection. And that's important. So, I guess it boils down to, I've been married 22 years. That does not make me an expert by far. I've been blessed. God has blessed me with an amazing marriage, and I'm grateful for that. And I won't ever take that for granted, to have this marriage and this blessing. Never. Because I've seen marriages fail and fall and crash and burn and total train wreck. I've watched it with my own parents, and it's terrifying. And so if I was to give you any advice on marriage, you got to be content for one. You got to be understanding for another. You got to work things through. Don't let life get to you, and talk things over, discuss things, and always be upfront and honest, and never leave them guessing what's going on inside your heart and your mind. And just be their friend, be their best friend, and enjoy their company, and enjoy what you've been blessed with. Enjoy that relationship and that companionship and that lifelong journey that you're going to share together, and knowing that you have the comfort of someone next to you always. And that's comforting. Comforting knowing they're going to always be there. I mean, not necessarily physically, that's great, but always, they're always going to be there. You always call them up, and you're having a bad day, and they'll listen. And even if you're fired up and huffing and puffing and ranting and raving, because sometimes that's what I do. And they're just going to listen, and then they're going to talk to you, and then they're going to make you realize that it's not so bad, and that's great. And marriage has been great, and it's been 22 years, and 22 amazing years. And my wife watches my videos, so I'm going to say to you right now that I love you. I will always love you. And you've been an amazing wife an amazing mother and an amazing friend. And thank you very much. Thank you. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.